guys, it is so good to be with you. We are doing our first effort at some dinner devo conversations. And so thanks for welcoming me in to your dinner conversation. In these next few moments, I just want to share out of this book that encourages us to look at 31 verses that every teenager should know. And I think this could be some great conversations that you have as a family around the dinner table, around some really important passages. And today, we're going to look at Matthew 7:14. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Life is a journey. Ever had someone say that to you? They were probably an adult, and they probably meant well. After all, they just wanted you to realize that whatever happened wasn't the end of the world. The event could actually build character for you for the future. I've got some news for you. They're right, at least about the life is a journey thing. Whether or not an event builds character kind of depends on the event and your response and all the other stuff that goes around it. Life is a journey. Your life is always in motion, and everyone is always going somewhere. The question is, where? Where are we going, right? What a great question to ask. So then if we were to read Matthew 7 again, but maybe read a couple more verses, Matthew 7:13 says, "Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few will find it." Think about your life's potential, what you can do, who you can be. It seems there's a number of paths you could take. However, Jesus tells us that that's actually not the case. Really, there's only two ways you can take: the broad road and the narrow road. You could take the broad road. It's easy to find. It's easy to follow. On this road, you can really do whatever you want. The only problem is that it's really no life at all. At the end of that path, you discover that the only thing waiting for you is destruction. But that's really not what Jesus desires for you, which is good news, right? Jesus doesn't desire us to be on a path towards destruction. And so he says that we can enter through the narrow gate. But what's he talking about when he's talking about a narrow gate? Well, in John 10:7, Jesus says, "Very truly, I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep." In verse 14, Jesus reveals, this is in Matthew, that this gate leads to a more difficult path. Not many people find it because it can only be found in him. He is the gate. He is the way. However, those who do find it take the only way that actually leads to life. And not just eternal life, but an abundant and a full life here on earth as well. So your journey begins when you choose a gate. Which one have you chosen? Question 1. Which way are you currently taking? Are you taking the broad path or are you taking the narrow path? Pause the video and just talk about that for a minute. Question number 2. What makes the broad path so easy? I mean, Jesus himself says that a ton of people take that path and that it's the path that leads to destruction, but it's like the most popular path. What's the reason that it's such an easy path? What does the broad path look like in your life? Pause the video and talk about that. Question number 3. What makes the narrow path so hard? I mean, it's clear that the narrow path leads through Jesus. It is through Jesus that we find this eternal life, and it's the path to eternal life instead of destruction. But why does Jesus say it's so hard? Okay, now the last question. Take a few minutes, maybe even grab some paper and a pen and write a prayer of thanks. That's right, a prayer of thanks. Why would you thank God? You thank God because he makes it abundantly clear that the path to him is through Jesus. He is the gate. It's abundantly clear that the narrow way is this path to life everlasting. He doesn't want us on this broad path towards destruction. So we get to thank the Lord. If you are making that decision to follow Jesus, you are on this narrow path to him. Thank him. Ask him for the strength to continue to follow and pursue him. Hope you guys enjoyed our conversation on Matthew 7:14.